Hey everybody, how's it going? Um, Starting up a little early just to see if my stuff will work, but it doesn't want to work today. Oh, that's right, paper tigers. But I want to go on to. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot this. When they know it is on the big screen, they don't let it show. Interesting. Not even sure if this one.
Like when you were Kid Dynamite on Sports Illustrated, I'll never forget that, man. That was your era from the 80s, the late 80s. That era, like, it was a big part of my youth. When you came around, all of a sudden, everybody's watching Heavyweight boxing. Heavyweight boxing wasn't boring again. It was the most crazy, exciting thing in sports. Because I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be 20 years old and be that fucking famous. It was a trip. Who can handle that? Can anybody handle that? It was a trip, but it was just what customized. That was his blueprint for me. Right. Teenage superstar. Does it seem like a dream? Yeah, pretty much like a blur.
Ohio State residents, if you have a utility meter like this on the side of your house, you can get paid to go solar for no money out of pocket. It costs nothing to install the panels, and you can immediately get a credit on your bill when your meter runs backwards. And then you get paid for the excess power you produce from solar. There are federal and state subsidies available to you to get paid to go solar, but they are expiring soon. Not all homes do qualify, so make sure you click the link to see if you can make $100, $200, or even $500 per month with solar panels at no cost to you.
I'm a little kid, so you'll be the world champ. You have this guy know. Special. Thanks a lot, man. They're fighting. Somebody got to die. With the 10 seconds, nobody got to die.
I'm going to register a bunch of students today, but I'll try to get out as early as possible. What time can you guys make it over to this?
Obviously, Mike Tyson is a super athlete. You would you'd pay to see his fights just to watch him fuck somebody up. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. You'd watch him execute guys. And then he came along and started blasting people. He was the fucking king of the world. He was in his 20s. He was buck wild.
And he's down again and in serious trouble. A right hand right on the chin.
It was a different thing. Yeah. It was a different thing. You had never seen a boxer like him before.
Tyson, when I first had him, he was 190 pounds, nothing but muscle, 12 years old. Okay, that's what he was. But that's what he was. I mean, that's what God made him.
The great boxing trainer, Gus D'Amato, finally turned Mike's life around, took him under his wing, and rechanneled Mike's energies into boxing. D'Amato feels that Tyson will be the next Muhammad Ali. He should know. Ali was also one of his students.
because in my opinion, the mind and emotions about 75% of the body.
The great American success story, the street kid who fought his way out of poverty to astounding fame and fortune.
His seasoned eye for talent has spotted a fresh, up-and-coming young heavyweight named Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, weighing 210 pounds.
So this came up because we saw Mike got a doctorate at Central State University. It was an honorary doctorate. But had a lot of trauma. So moving into doing a trauma group, which is what I was going to lead for you guys. If I can pull out my trauma-informed PowerPoint from when I led the trauma groups at Lighthouse Youth Services. So I know some of you have seen a few of these descriptions of what trauma-informed care is, but I wanted to do the quick brief on what it actually is real quick first.
You know the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, the same is true when you assess a patient. Hi, I'm Dr. Cruz. Early in my career, I noticed a pattern with some of my patients. They often had multiple health issues, were uneasy during office visits, and frequently visited the emergency department. But worst of all, they never got better despite multiple visits. Then I realized something. From an early age, many of my patients were exposed to trauma and adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. This includes emotional, sexual, or physical abuse, violence, neglect, discrimination, poverty, and other adverse events. ACEs are more common in the US than you'd think. In fact, 60% of US adults have one ACE, 25% have 3 or more ACEs, and 16% have 4 or more. ACEs occur in all socioeconomic groups, but are more common in low-income and minority populations. For young children, repeated exposure to trauma can impact brain development and literally rewire the brain's response to stress. So as they grow up, many struggle with issues related to emotional regulation, like depression, anxiety, or substance use disorders. Trauma survivors are also more often at risk for chronic diseases, behavioral health problems, and even suicide. Knowing all this, I began to rethink my approach to care. Instead of asking patients, "What's wrong with you?" I ask, "What happened to you?" Recognizing that life experiences are often a root cause of poor health is integral to improving care. Trauma-informed care has helped me take these experiences into account, providing greater insight into my patients' needs and how to address them. Here are 5 key ways that healthcare organizations can gradually integrate trauma-informed care into their practices to help patients and staff. First, build awareness and generate buy-in. Involve both staff and patients in adopting a trauma-informed approach. Second, invest in a trauma-informed workforce. Hire staff that embrace trauma-informed care and provide training not only for clinical staff, but also for non-clinical employees like front desk workers or security guards, who are often the face of your organization. Next, create an environment that is safe and welcoming for patients and staff. Engage patients in meaningful ways. Ask how they feel and listen. You can also build trust by involving them in their own treatment planning. Finally, identify and treat trauma. Consider a screening approach that works for your patients and ensure that treatments and referral sources are available. These changes take time, but each step improves our ability to connect with and care for patients. Today, our patients appreciate the changes we've made. Plus, our staff is more in tune with patients, so work is less stressful and more rewarding. Trauma-informed care. It can truly transform the caregiving experience from being treaters to being healers.
So there is a lot on trauma specifically, but I want to get into our training we used at Lighthouse. See if I can search the trauma folder. It might not be. I have to look at it on Dropbox.com too. Hello. How are you? No, they lie. These people lie. Did you know that? How's it going?
It's good. You know, I'm chilling with you. I'm got class today.
You don't have class?
No grading pencil for the rest of the week.
Do they give out those at Burger King still, or they stop?
No, I took this from my manager. I don't even eat Burger King.
I'm doing trauma. I do because they have the Impossible Whopper, but now Nikita just told me they put laxative. Yeah. And the Impossible Burger, I liked them, but she's like, your body can't digest it, so therefore they put laxatives in it. I was like, gross.
Have you ever had the wow?
What is it called?
The wow. In the Tudor City?
Tell me you're a king.
I'm the king.
Yeah. I'm about to think about
He's thinking for that, baby.
So you know the Tudor Center, right?
Yes.
So you know downstairs, it's a restaurant there that's called the wow.
Oh, okay.
So you can show James.
To my mom, my dad, and my wife. She'll show James.
You didn't get me in it.
All right, ready? There you go. He's like, you're nuts.
So in the wow, they have a plant-based burger, and it is so good. Like me and my boyfriend.
Wait, what is the wow?
The wow is like
Wow.
world of wings.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But the plant-based burger, Mission Trough, is so good.
Okay.
Like, me and my boyfriend, we're not vegan, we're not vegetarian, nothing.
But
we
he's
love
like-
that burger.
Women and trauma. I didn't even know I had this.
I'll be back. I gotta use Barnhill.
Okay.
Are you ready for the summer? Because I can't wait to talk to you about the summer.
Yeah, I know. We're about to do this class again in the summer, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hope you have a little time at the end so we can finish my classes.
We can register you guys. Did you get registered yet? Do you want to?
But I need your focus. I know this is your class, but like at the end, I need your
Guess what? My computer wants to die on me too. I feel sad.
I need your focus on me for like
Yeah, I know.
at least 5 minutes because you know
else.
I'm a little behind.
Okay. All right. You can do that. Is she registering you?
Yeah.
Can you open that window? It is a little toasty in here.
Yes. 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 I might even switch seats with you.
You want me to sit right there?
Plug. I won't get the plug. Whoa.
Right after.
Did that do it?
Sit right here.
Yeah, because I got to plug it in, and I might even have to roll the whole day. Watch this. You won't even have to move it. I'm gonna have to move my whole computer. Yeah, that's the one to be plugged in. That is weird. How do I plug in both at the same time? I guess like that. Okay.
You want this chair or this black one?
I'll do this one. You can have the big chair, man. You're the king now. See, you're the king.
You got to share.
But no, I was trying to dig into the trauma group. Is that cooling it off in here, or no?
It's not too much for you to focus.
He's like, this feels good actually. Let me just stay here. So I was trying to dig into my Lighthouse folder about trauma, and of course, when I look for it, I don't find it. Do you guys ever have to try to dig through all your files and find anything?
Yeah, I just have to do that today.
Your paper that's due?
Yeah, I had to do it for my English class because I emailed it to myself,
Okay.
but I couldn't find it.
I'm trying not to be stressed out. I had a huge folder of every trauma thing ever that I taught. And I wanted to trauma sensitive schools. That's not really it. Is it really going to snow?
It was actually just snowing.
Right now?
Yeah, when we was walking, it wasn't like nothing. I just seen the white flare.
Yeah, because I seen the other day it was today and tomorrow.
Is that coffee?
It is straight black coffee.
I smell it.
It's like strong. Because on Fridays, I fast on bread and water. And what that means is I can't put any cream or sugar into my coffee. And that's it. You do it during Lent, so it just is like a mindfulness fast. Like you're like, oh shit, I'm not addicted to sugar. That's kind of what I think. I'm like, whoa.
Can't wait to show you these when it's time to graduate.
So, any guess why it just took me out of that signal? I'm gonna try it again. Watch this. Is it just because I had it pulled so far away?
And can you pick who hands you your degree or no?
You had my degree?
Can you pick who hands you your degree in college?
Oh, you know what? So when you get a doctorate, yes, that is where like some of the confusion comes in, because you would hope that they do that at all levels. Like who's going to hood you guys like this?
Mm-hmm.
You ever get the hood put on you? Like, I feel sad. Did my thing just finally burn out? Like, damn. It just says no signal. Like it's all pissed off at me.
You can
I
say it.
know, that is crazy. It's
Hopefully
like,
they don't try to save me on a tornado.
Right.
Because that's definitely some hard
we're
one.
going to go follow the yellow brick road.
I hate tornadoes.
Oh, do they have tornadoes up there?
Chicago?
Yeah.
No, if they do, all we do is get rain and wind.
Oh, okay.
We're not gonna get the actual like.
Okay.
Unless you like in the suburbs. Like I live in the suburbs, it seems like around me.
You're in the
you
nice
know,
part?
Huh?
Are you in the nice part?
Bestie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I added, I'm taking general, this is for the fall.
Okay.
General practice 1, culture and social sensitivity,
Okay.
social problems, principle of learning, and nutrition, health / weight control. Is
Weight
that-
control.
Yeah, but I already took a health class, so maybe I should take that off.
I mean, you can take it if you want.
If
Is
you
that
think I could-
15, 6, 9, 12. I mean, so how long do you want to be here with us? That's the $1 million.
I want to graduate. I want to graduate on time, so I want to take that and pick up something else.
And
drop
so
And do you think I could take principles of learning? That's up under psychology.
you could, but first, the first place you start, right?
Where
You have your check sheet.
I did introduction to psychology.
Right, but have you filled it out so you know exactly what you need? Which we can do that. We can sit
I
down and-
started, but to me, it don't really explain anything. Like it just, I don't.
You
think
have it. I can send it to you. And then
I
open
got the
that-
one you sent it to me, but I was marking on it and I exited it out, and I don't think I saved it.
Because what we should do is fill out so we know exactly what you have and then exactly what you need. That way you don't stay here any longer than you have to, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
That's the only way I can like wrap my head around it. And if you want to do it now or if you want to do it when we meet after class, it's up to you. We just fill in. I took English, I took math, I took history, I took intro to psych, intro to soc. Those are all your basics. You took gym, you took, what are the other ones that they have? They're like crazy. And from there, we decide what you actually need. This is exactly what I was looking for now. I can't believe I have it. Trauma trainings and trauma treatments. So like if you guys led a trauma group,
It's 2 ways I ain't going, and that's back and forth, especially with
another teacher.
It's some words in there, but they too.
Your wordsmithing things.
Yeah, because the words is too crazy. Okay, why I can't find my check sheet?
They are hard to find sometimes too.
I know you sent it to me, so that's why I'm confused.
Send it email.
Yeah.
Here is the ACEs study.
Oh, I gotta do it all over. Oh, no, I don't. Oh, yeah, I do.
You got it?
No, I got one you sent to me, but I gotta do it over because it's marked on here.
Where's the girls?
Girls Circle is under announcements. So if you go into announcements,
Guess what I probably found?
you found it. So you would go into what we would call D2L. Let's look at this one.
Downloads. Check sheet.
Oh, of course I don't have D2L open. So you go into D2L announcements, and then it was, oh, there they are. So yeah, here's announcements. If you go through all of them, dang, that most recent one was super long, so it takes up a lot. You gotta scroll all the way down. It's crazy. That was a grant, so that's an example for your final paper if you write a group with a grant.
Is there a printer in here?
That's been our issue all the time. So this announcement here, if I edit, will it repost it at the top for you guys? Groups manual to site. Okay. Might even like drag it to the top so that it's the first one that shows up, or pin it to the top. You know how people sometimes pin. That's almost what I want to do. Oh, look, it's letting me just repost it. There we go. I copied the whole announcement, and now I think it's, so it's the very first announcement you get. To make it easy for you. And then here is the trauma training. Has any of you guys ever gotten a trauma training before?
I want to.
So this is how we trained our staff at Lighthouse, and then how, if you finished this, you would lead the trauma groups. So have any of you ever heard of the ACEs study?
The study? No, I know what an ACE is though. We talked about the ACE.
Oh, really? Did Nikita bring it up?
No, you did.
Oh, okay. So adverse childhood experiences, a lot of people think it's ambiguous directions that leave things up into interpretation that way later on about how you end there.
Oh, just walking around. I think I've seen
Who?
Tink. She's an artist.
An RA?
She's an artist. She's a singer.
Oh, okay. All right, so here is ACEs, an Adverse Childhood Experience Study, one of the largest investigations ever conducted to assess associations between childhood maltreatment and later health, life, well-being. And they're saying most of us have one adverse childhood experience, at least one. So we prepare for working with our kids that way because, well, not even just kids, because ACEs get carried on into adulthood. They happen. And that's the name of the study. It was 17,000 people. It suggests that certain experiences. Oh, Wendy's $1 burger, anybody? Is this? Oh, you guys don't get to see it. Never mind. I thought it popped up there. Some people with their trauma choose to eat. Some may choose, like instead of dealing with it, choose to do drugs, choose sex, choose food. There's several things you can go. Therapy is also one of the options, and they do say it's all recoverable. So like if we do go through therapy and do address it, we're going to be okay. So findings suggest that certain experiences are major risk factors for the leading causes of illness, as well as poor quality of life in the United States. So that's like heart, that's like all the different things that come up. They have more health problems and more mental health problems. Wait, did I just skip a slide on you guys? What the hell? There. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of what it looks like. So this is why we do trauma groups. So like if you're leading a group, you got adverse childhood experiences are the baseline. Like if you guys, and most of us say yes. Have you seen the list of 10 questions? Most of us have it. Have you ever had a parent lost? Have you ever had a divorce in your family? Have you ever had mental illness in your family? Is there alcoholism or addiction in your family? And those are considered ACEs. And most of us say yes to not just one, but multiple. I say about a quarter of us have 4 ACEs. Because of that, we could have disrupted neurodevelopment. We could have social, emotional, or cognitive impairment. We could have adoption of health risk behaviors. You don't have to. So like these are just what the research study shows. Disease, disability, and social problems. Sometimes 20 years earlier, we can die. Sometimes. So adverse childhood experience study, here's what it reported. 33 had no ACEs. So only 1/3 had no ACEs. So it shows 2/3 of us have an ACE. Of those, it says 1 in 16 smoke. Now, half of us have 1 to 3 ACEs. 1 in 9 smokes. Those of us that have 4 or more ACEs, like I answered yes on 4 out of those 10, 1 in 6 smokes. And you can see how it goes up. 1 in 69 are alcoholic with no ACEs. 1 in 9 are at 3 ACEs. If you have 4 or more, it's 1 in 6. IV drug use, 1 in 480, 1 in 43, 1 in 30. Suicide attempts. So like the stats don't look good. Let me see if these work. They probably don't. With my luck, nothing's going to work. This is a guy working with a little girl. Okay. William Steele.
In trauma, we have to keep in mind that the body has a memory.
Do I have to do this? Press Function F for full screen. Function F.
It's okay.
It's actually kind of just a boring video, but let me try to get it off because it looks stupid. You're right. Is there a way to leave presentation mode?
Try escape.
Oh, this is funny though, because this is going to work now. Watch. Nope, I lied. Never mind. So, I was about to say, let us just, it doesn't let me swap it there either. You can tell how much I love presentation mode, can't you? Let's just move through this. But like, so trauma defined as a serious threat to one's life or physical integrity, a serious threat or harm to one's children, spouse, or other close relatives. So you can like threaten people or things, even their pets. Like if somebody came and like effed with your dog, do any of you have an animal? Like if somebody messed up my dog in 19 years or now my cat, I actually ran over my own cat. Did I tell you this? Yeah. I was like crying and shit. It was just a few years ago. It was my cat for like 14 years. I can kind of smile about it now. I know he's in a better spot, but it sucked. Like I was like, I cried, I dug his hole, I buried him. So it can be about relatives, friends, even animals, children, feeling of absolute terror and helplessness caused by an event in a person's life. Even a tornado, like you say, tornado, hurricane, blizzard, and you don't have food. Some type of major natural event, trauma can be caused by. What's weird is that a lot of people for 10 years, we diagnosed you with ADHD, but it was an actual trauma that it should have been diagnosed as. And the reason is ADHD, ODD, and PTSD, all these symptoms overlap. So like as a social worker and clinician, I see a bad kid in the classroom. I'm like, oh, he's got ADHD. Well, no, he's acting out because he's got a trauma. And we didn't see that for like 20, 30, 40 years as social workers. About 2012, we started changing like, oh, this symptoms overlap. Most symptoms of ADHD can be extended to PTSD. Both ODD and PTSD are treatments for best practice. Indicates a need to address symptoms in similar ways. And then symptom expression, multiple or single domain. So basically, a kid with ADHD and a kid with PTSD, you can misdiagnose them. That's the the frightening thing. So SIDCAP stands for Structured Sensory Interventions for Children, Adolescent, and Parents. We would do like horticulture therapy, we would do movement therapy, like Dr. Hunt starting to do this type of stuff across the street. Am I pointing the right way? Is Dr. Hunt over there? I always get confused while I'm in the building. Over there, Dr. Hunt does structured sensory intervention. And you can tailor it to the needs of the client, like if they are a 5-year-old, if they are a college student, if they are an adult with a family. So the goals are like stabilization, return to previous baseline, or prevention of further dysfunction, identification of your post-traumatic stress disorder reactions. Maybe I should throw it out here too. Do you guys know anyone that has trauma? After seeing like the definition of trauma, do we ourselves or anybody we know have trauma? I feel like more of us, and then COVID. I know this sounds really weird, but COVID in and of itself was a trauma. Like, remember all that shit? Like 6 feet apart, wear your mask, get vaccinated, stay away from people, don't even hug your grandparents, like all that crap. That was traumatic. Like that messed us all up. So, anyway, they're trying to order a damn fish fry on me. My mom and my wife and my dad. And my dad's 77.
Do y'all all live together?
No, we should at this point. My wife would probably not have it, but we should. She said, my dad wants a fish sandwich, and she's got my cousin. Sophie and Gabrielle want. They have like a fish fry is a Catholic thing. So fasting during Lent is the 40 days before Easter. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. And because I'm vegetarian, I can't eat fish. So that's why I do bread and water on Fridays. Mm-hmm. And for me, water is coffee with no sugar and cream, and like bread until like the last dinner of the day. So if I act off on Fridays for the next few weeks, that's probably why I'm like hungry and want to kill somebody. So, besides that,
Well, you're a good one.
So when you guys as social workers are making goals with your clients that have trauma, you're doing like a trauma group. Here's like support the heroic efforts to become a survivor rather than a victim of the experience. So like sometimes you're switching the goal. Of course, we're allowed to be victims, but like we try to then look at strengths that they have and how they're going to get through it. How did you survive and thrive, like to get to college in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, I remember them telling me I wasn't college material. I remember in my doctoral program, she's like, I don't think you're going to finish this doctorate based on your writing. It sucks. I remember that, and I was like, oh, hell no. Ain't nobody holding me back. So like we flip that script and like show them, like, watch me. You know what? Like, watch me. I'll get back to you in 5 years, and that's what I've done. One appropriate assistance for the parents and resolve reactions triggered by their child's traumatization. I can't even say it. I probably couldn't even spell it. Replacement of the traumatic sensory experience with positive sensory experiences. So maybe like gardening, grow your own food. Chickens, like produce your own eggs. Like a lot of people use horticulture because it is like the basic needs of life. A lot of people do artwork because you can create beautiful murals on the wall and like sell your artwork and make money with it. So focus on the themes, not their behaviors, because they will do weird and crazy and bad stuff just because they're like testing or want to be safe or want to feel safe. So 10 major sensations are fear, terror, worry, hurt, anger, revenge, accountability, safety, power, and the shift in thinking from victim to survivor or thriver. Oh, it has the notes for you. Now that I flipped it, now you guys have my notes and I have your PowerPoint. So you do sensory experiences because you have to reactivate that part of the brain that your trauma is stored in. Like when we say we like repress all these memories, we don't remember what happened in our childhood because we repress them. We have to activate that part of the brain so that we can like remember, deal with it, and then move forward. So through a structured drawing process, children are guided through reliving the experience and are assisted in telling their story. The trained facilitator assists the child in developing a new narrative that regulates the traumatic memory to the place and the time it occurred instead of permeating every aspect of your life. So you can remember your trauma happened to you as a kid or way back when, and that now you are a resilient person. These are important because sometimes you have words but not images. Sometimes it's hard to remember the details. So that's why you draw about it or draw pictures, providing education and diversity. Emphasis on taking the person from passive to an active role in order to gain control over the experience. So we're trying to get control over that traumatic experience. When you lead your trauma group, it's important to know traumatic memory is stored as a sensory experience. So like, is there a trauma you guys remember ever growing up that is still there with you that you're willing to share about?
What's like the age limit to? Yeah, what's the age? It's just
1 to 18.
Huh?
1 to 18.
Oh, 1 to 18. Okay. Something I remember that is still in my.
Like a trauma, the day a divorce happened, the day a fight occurred, the day a friend lost, a parent, imprisonment, alcoholism, domestic violence, and it just sticks out, or we suppress it so we don't even remember it. You know what I mean? That's when it's even.
I was raped during COVID, and it took me a long time to realize like what happened. So I was newly 18. It was somebody that was close to me. I would say that's traumatic. That was traumatic.
Because you were like, no.
Yeah. Well, it was more complicated.
Okay.
Because it was my boyfriend, so it's like.
Right. Well, and they say a lot of those occur with a person we are dating.
And like they say, like no means no, but it's also a lot of other things that
right
means no.
Right. Yeah. Well, and if you are in the shock of the moment, sometimes you're not communicating words. You're not, like body language shuts us down.
People don't know it's hard. So it was before COVID, but my uncle, he been on drugs like ever since my mom was in high school, college. So it's like a long time.
Right.
And he been on like nothing specific, so it's either heroin or crack or whatever.
Right.
Like
right.
And he almost like set my grandma's house on fire.
Oh.
And he almost at like my grandma. This was before my grandpa died of COVID. My grandma was in there. My grandpa was in there. It's a two-flex, so my grandma is on the first floor. So it was my grandma, my grandpa that was on the first floor. Then the second floor is my TT, her boyfriend, my little cousin that was upstairs. Everybody was up and everything like that. So everybody was like deep out and stuff. So they had to like get the house like rebuilt up and stuff like that. Like,
dang, so they owned the house.
Yeah, they like my grandpa and my grandma like bought that house. So they had to like get rebuilt and everything like that. So that was kind of traumatic and stuff. It was like it was a lot going on.
Yeah, so you were living there too?
No, I wasn't living there.
But you hear about it, like he was asking them for money, they said no, he ran out and just dumped gas and lit it.
So this is what happened. So I guess like my uncle or whatever, he used to be in the basement and stuff like that. And my grandma always fed him, of course, like that, like, whenever you want some food, he came over and got some food. I don't know what he tried to do. Like, I don't know if he was like doing it, like smoking downstairs with him. I don't know what he was doing, but he did something to where it made a fire and he just ran out of the house. Like, he didn't tell nobody nothing was on fire or nothing like that. He just ran out of the house.
Okay.
So that was traumatic. That whole like 3 days was traumatic because like my cousin ended up getting shot like 2 days after his mother could. So who was in the house? So it was just a lot going on. So that's traumatic. I got a lot of traumatic stories for y'all, but I'm really open, so I couldn't tell y'all that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So like doing the processing and just knowing, like, have you had the ability to process some of that? Have you had the chance to talk to somebody at least about it? Like, sometimes we don't. We skip it.
Not about that specific situation, don't know. Not saying it happened so long ago, but it did happen so long ago. And I mean, they ended up building the house. The house ended up like, it's better than ever now. It's handicap accessible now, so it's like better and stuff like that. So I like to think of it like that. Like, yeah, something bad happened, but now look how it looks now. Like, everything's so much better now. So, I mean, I'm okay with that situation. It's just that was like traumatic because it was just a lot going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, and this is the some of the challenging parts of social work because we take care of our own things and handle our own traumas so that we can work with other people's traumas too. So that is definitely hard, definitely a challenge.
That's also how we do social work and stuff because it's like a lot off of like experience. Like, I got a lot of experience with a lot of stuff. I feel like I could really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they keep emphasizing this, that traumatic memory is stored as a traumatic experience. And because it's stored as a sensory thing because of when the trauma occurs, we don't process it in our mind until we do a sensory thing. So if it's dancing or artistry, drawing things, or gardening, like digging in the soil, or like chopping wood either. And these are some of the things you work with when working with traumatized folks. Well, first address the iconically stored memories at a sensory level before they can be reordered and managed at a cognitive level. So like some of the primary themes are like fear, terror, worry, hurt, anger, revenge, feeling totally unsafe and powerless to do anything. And those are all normal things. Like some people say, no, I don't have the revenge. And it's like, no, it's okay to feel that. It's when you act on it that it can be a problem, like retaliation and stuff. That wanting revenge is a very normal thing. People are like, no, that's bad. I can't think that way. I can't feel that way. It's like, no, that's a very normal processing thing to do. This is why they say drawing is helpful. So drawing is sensory motor activity. It helps trigger the sensory memories of the traumatic experience when it is trauma focused. Drawing provides safe vehicle to communicate what children, even adults, often have few words to describe. Drawing engages the child and adult in active involvement in their healing. It takes them from passive into active, directed, controlled externalization of the trauma experience. Drawing provides a symbolic representation of the trauma experience in a format that makes us witness to the experience so we can now see what the child sees as he looks at himself and the world around him. And drawing provides a visual focus on details. It cuts off on mine. That encourage the client via trauma-specific questions, tell his story, give a language so it can be reordered. Sometimes you don't have words to put with it. So it says the drawing itself becomes concrete representation and the child can manipulate any way needed to now feel power over it. The sensory memory of terror, feeling totally unsafe and powerless is replaced with the sensory experience of regaining power over it, as well as feeling safe once again as the experience and now contained and outside of itself. It can help put distance between himself and the experience, thereby feeling safer. So safety is that number one drawing thing. Drawing can help with that. Drawing also provides diminishing reactivity, like the anxiety, trauma memories through repeated visual re-exposure to the medium that's perceived and felt the client to be safe. It helps you externalize the experience, helps you remove it into a safe container, which is the paper outside of himself. It also becomes a concrete representation the child can manipulate any way needed now to feel power over it. At Lighthouse, we worked with anybody from 1 to 18. So you could be any age. Usually our trauma group was from people that were 13 to 18. Some of the basic intervention techniques in the group are these. So like helping them experience safety is critical to reliving the experience of trauma. So when you're safe, you can relive it, adjust to it, Also, it says safety cannot be experienced through cognitive process. It must be experienced at a sensory level. That's why you always draw, or maybe you write something out and rip it up, or throw it away. It's at implicit level in the midbrain rather than the neocortex. When the child's behavior does not make sense, remember the experience of trauma. The traumatized child's behavior, as illogical as it may seem, is an attempt to gain power. So that's why they're acting out. They're trying to gain power over it and get into a safe place. It leaves them with a sense of safety and control. From our view, though, it looks like self-defeating behavior. Trauma is the inability to move sensory memories of those traumatic experience from implicit to explicit, where a child can reframe it in a way to manage it. So lots of different intervention techniques. And why we do the drawing in those groups. And yeah, the brain response is also kind of interesting a lot of times, how our brain reacts to it. Of course, today my computer won't want to get into there. So they trained me in this trauma group, and I was a little terrified at first. I'm like, I don't know if I feel okay to lead this. And folks with a bachelor's of social work were leading this group, folks with like the proper training. Have you guys ever heard of cortisol before? That's what's released when you're traumatized, like in a stressful, crazy experience. Like if you heard about the fire or even saw it, or just somebody told you about it, like your brain is like on high alert, like cortisol is being.
Yes, because when, like, okay, so my mom, she was getting her phone programmed or whatever, she was getting her phone. And so her phone wasn't on, but she was getting the program, she was getting all her like, phone numbers and shit put in there. So they was trying to call her, but of course she wasn't answering, so they called me. And I gave a phone to my mom, and they all ran out of the house, and she took my phone. So I don't know what's going on. I just know it's a fire.
Mm-hmm.
They all in there.
Okay.
So I'm at home by myself, and I know what she's saying, like your brain responds, and your brain is like going off. So that's how I was gonna have to find myself really crazy, because my brain is going off. Because I'm like, what's going on? So that's what's my brain is going crazy.
Right. Yeah. And so it's hard to put it into words. It's hard to. Adrenaline starts kicking in, so that's the next one. Serotonin kicks in. What is serotonin again? You guys remember? I don't remember.
Serotonin is what you feel when you're happy.
Oh, right. Serotonin reuptake inhibitor. That's why they give you those pills. SSRIs. Okay.
And like when you eat chocolate.
Yes.
Dark chocolate, serotonin levels go up.
So in the trauma, you got that suppressed. So it's hard to be happy. You're just like, you feel like you're in a fog. You're like depressed for even weeks or years at a time. Like it depends. And then the developing brain of a child, if that's happening, it's even more dangerous. Because even up until like we're 22, your frontal cortex is not fully developed. So like if we have a trauma up until like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, developing brain children's subcortical structures are damaged by the chemical irregularities. This is above my pay grade. That's some super smart stuff, but it means like you get fucked up. I don't know how else to put it besides like trauma can fuck you up. Like I know that I'm not a medical doctor, so but I do want to have the medical terminology so you at least know what it is. And I'll try to put it into language that I understand. Hopefully you do, but like it'll fuck you up.
Okay, so like when you go for your clinical license, right? Like how do you learn stuff that you need to know for the clinical? Like would you have to take a clinical
practice tests?
But like would you have to take a clinical route when it comes to like your masters and stuff? No?
Most masters already are by nature clinical. Just by default. And my choices were family and community or mental health. For whatever reason, the word mental health scared me off, so I did family and community. But it's funny because all my practice with my license is mental health. Everything I've ever done is mental health. And so, what's that? Right. And so you guys will get trained in that. We already started now, but obviously if you go on to graduate school, that's when you can get a clinical license and you get to shortcut it. Oh shit.
I'm stripping.
Damn, it's late. All right. See, we didn't even get through it. We just scratched the surface like.
When you come back,
Should we just register you right now and do that?
I don't feel like it.
Really? 'Cause you're already registered. So what does it look like? Let's do it on the big screen. What is your thing like this?
You can write me a recommendation letter?
Sure. Who do you need it for?
No, that's not your page.
Is that it?
But like it's like a template, like an outline almost. You just put it in.
Boom. So out of these, what do you have
I
done?
took all of these right here besides general practice. From general practice going on down, I took all of these, took statistics, took public speaking.
And you got a C or better in all that crap.
Yes,
Okay,
I got a D in public speaking, but they said that's passing.
it is.
I got an A here. I'm taking bio now. What is this?
That's yours, Margie?
No.
Yeah, look at all his
Intro to
A's, B's,
sociology.
and C's.
Intro to sociology.
I didn't take none of this.
So
Did you say
definitely
intro psych?
take those.
Yeah, I took intro to psychology.
That's intro to psych,
I
and
took that.
intro to sociology is the other one.
I took intro to psych already.
Okay.
Took critical thinking, took this, and I took those.
So the only one you need on this side is sociology, and your other science probably. Everybody needs the other.
Yeah, I'm
science.
in science now. You need 2 sciences?
You do need to.
Whoa.
Most
That's
people
why I
take
took natural disaster.
water
Whoa.
resource management.
Oh, I
you
took.
taking research?
I got it. I passed. I already passed water resource already, but I'm taking it again because I got a D in it. But
All you need is a D. D's for diploma.
I just wanted to get a better grade.
Right. Okay.
But,
Did you take your gym class already?
yeah, I took that already. I took walking for fitness, health and wellness.
Okay.
So I'm just really lost because I'm taking research.
Yes, do
So I'm taking research now. I'm taking 1102, human behavior 2 right now. And intro to water.
You don't need Spanish.
Oh, yeah, that's why you talk about that.
So if you put it all in writing, just to make sure you check. So you grade one more. Are you aiming to graduate? Fall?
Wait, what you say?
You can take summer classes and graduate in fall if you're saying you took all these. But how many hours do you have?
I gotta check again. But I think
It was on your computer right there.
I exited it out.
79, 80.
It's like 79. I don't know.
And you're in how many right now? So you could be at
18.
90.
I'm at 18 right now.
So you'll be at 90 some by next year.
Yeah, and then I'm taking 11 over the summer.
Oh shit, you could probably graduate in fall.
Yeah, I want to graduate on time for my class in May, 2024 May.
When did you start that?
2020.
Yeah. You seem to be moving fast then, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This ain't really helpful because all this besides a couple things I took already. I don't need the Spanish.
So what about that kids course with
Karen?
Yes.
I don't really know. Like I'm scared. I don't know how I feel about her. But I'm probably gonna pick it up, see how she is.
Right.
First 2 weeks of school.
Okay. Karen teaches child families.
I'm gonna email you.
Okay.
And that's
all right.
something you're interested in. So even,
Children and families.
Oh, so maybe I can take next semester. Maybe I can take my other science.
You
Think
do
you
need
need
another
to.
one? Is it bio? Well, you do need
I'm
bio.
in bio
15.
right now. I'm taking that this
so
semester.
you don't need nothing else if you pass water resource management.
Oh yeah, I forgot about water resource management.
So you don't need.
Yeah, so you've actually taken everything.
That's what I'm saying. That's not really helpful because,
Okay.
and I don't have a minor, so.
Right.